Welcome, CDL fans, to another game day, our May 31st game day here in the Car Demolition League. And of course, the playoffs of 2015 continue. Race for Crash Bowl 19, folks, and one team, not maybe in the Crash Bowl race, but one team in the race for, of course, the Soldiers Cup race has been eliminated. The Richmond Reapers got swept in the last game day by the Calgary Stallions. So that series is over. So only 3 D-League series left going on. But, of course, 2 of them could come to an end most certainly today. The Rochester Tomahawks home against the Baltimore Colts. Game 4 of their best-of-5 series. And as I look at basically kind of like the score sheet stuff here, you know what I'm talking about, folks. But going into Game 4, Rochester, the number 7 seed of the Development League, was able to get the win in Game 3 at Baltimore, taking a 2-1 series lead. Rochester with home field for Game 4, looking to put the series away today. And folks, the Syracuse Scorpions in the same position. Game 4, their best-of-5 series. The Scorpions took that 2-1 series lead in Game 3. They got a 15-10 win over Toronto, and they take on the Canadians here today. Game 4 of their best-of-5 series. Toronto, of course, on the road, looking to try to scathe elimination and force that decisive Game 5. So that's what's going on from the D-League here today. But then, folks, we head into the pros. Go looking at the pro team Game 4s here in our first round. And hey, there's a lot of pages. It's a long season, folks. It's a long season. Needless to say, but we'll get to see Game 4 between. Yeah, I know my hair's crazy. But anyways, we'll get to see. Oh my god, my hair, my nails! Anyways. But needless to say, folks, we now know one thing. The Storm have apparently learned how to finish a game, because they certainly finished Game 3 against the San Francisco Shinobis. 15-5 on the road against San Francisco. The Storm able to come out and dominate and get the job done. So they're back in the series. It's a 2-1 series, of course. Shinobi's still in the lead, but weren't able to take advantage at home. So now the Storm with home turf for Game 4, looking to tie this series up at 2 today. Shinobis, they like to get things back on track and try to take that 3-1 series lead back home for Game 5, and if necessary, 6. So the Shinobis in a good spot here, but then again, so are the Storm. Chance to tie the series at home. So we'll see how that one turns out. Game 4, their best out of 7. Then the New York Empire, down 2-1 to the Pittsburgh Destroyers. Game 3, of course, New York losing it in overtime. Pittsburgh just barely pulling that one out and taking that 2-1 series lead. The Empire now on the road for Game 3. And, of course, Pittsburgh with home field advantage trying to take that 2-1 series lead. New York wants to take a 2-2 series lead back home for Games 5 and 6, folks. So we'll see what happens here on this May 31st game day between those two. Of course, that's the 3-6 matchup of the East. Then we go to the 2-7 matchup of the Western Conference, the Nevada Thunder. Going to be on the road against the New Mexico Monsters, and some controversial things going on with Hornet there, the Nevada Thunder, about the lost wheel and whatnot. So they ended up a shutout. Of course, New Mexico getting the win, so they got that 2-1 series advantage. Nevada. Hornet's wheel is fixed, folks, so we'll see how Hornet does out there on the field today. And you got to imagine the Thunder got to be out for blood after how they lost. Now, granted, down 10-0, it was a dominant game for the Monsters. You give them that credit. Got to give them that credit. Dominant game for the Monsters, but you got to think the Thunder could be a little, you swear sometimes. I know they're just toy cars, but folks, they can hold a grudge, believe it or not. These cars kind of have like a little bit of a soul in them. It's like Toy Story. I don't know what these guys talk about when I'm not here. Yeah, that's me. I don't know. Anyways, but it just seems that way sometimes. It's funny how it works, you know? Just subtle things. Anyways, but then our main event of this game day comes up. Of course, looking for that New Mexico-Nevada game, but don't forget about that Tampa Bay-Bradford game. Now, after Ratified dominated games 1 and 2 for the Tampa Bay Gators, the Bradford Brawlers came out strong in Game 3. And folks, talk about getting the job done, because that's exactly what Spinebuster did. Now, Bradford pulled the kamikaze move, put Spinebuster at the very front of the lineup for Game 3, and it paid off wonders. 15-0, the Brawlers got their first win of the series. Still down that series 2-1, but all the momentum going to their side heading into Game 4. And folks, that spells out our May 31st game day. Let's get down the field and get to it. Our quest for Crash Bowl 19 continuing today, only on CDL Live. Our last game day of May, as we get half of these Game 4s done and in the books. So let's get down to the field. Welcome, CDL fans, to this May 31st playoff edition of CDL Live. Last game day of May, and it's all going to be the start of all the Game 4s that are going on here in the Car Demolition League. And for the D League, now don't get me wrong, the pros, no series is up for grabs here today. In the pros, every series is 2-1, although all the series that are happening today are all at a 2-1. But for the D League, where it's a best out of 5 and not a best out of 7, both series are going to be on the line today. On the field first, the Baltimore Colts on the road, trying to keep their season alive as they take on the Rochester Tomahawks. Here in Game 4 of the best of 5 series, Rochester leads the series 2-1. So take a little look back at how this series has taken its course. So look back at Game 1, Rochester with a 15-0 shutout win. Come back to Game 2, Baltimore taking it 15-10, was able to tie the series up. And then Game 3, Rochester 15-10 win to retake the series lead. Now today, looking to put the whole thing away. We'll see if they'll be able to do a little change up in their roster here coming into this game, but I'm assuming it's to match up with what Baltimore's brought to the table here on their side. So that being said, let's take a look at what these teams are bringing to the lineup here on this May 31st game day. Let's get a look at these lineups. Here we go. Coming out first for the Baltimore Colts, farm team of both the Carolina Wildcats and the Milwaukee Mob. It's going to be Black 308. And out there to meet him first from the Rochester Tomahawks, Tim Geiser's farm team of both his Philadelphia Demons and Hartford Homies. It's going to be Red Racer leading off for Rochester. Game on, and Black 308 right away has the flip for Baltimore. 5-0 the Colts in the lead. They are trying to send this series to a decisive Game 5. Black Silhouette now out there for the Tomahawks, trying to tie this game up. And it's going to be Black 308 getting a good flip there. Now, no home team has won yet in the series. Doesn't look like it's going to happen today. But El Rey, he went 3-0 in Game 1, has a chance to do so here. His team down 10-0. Baltimore, one flip away from tying the series all up at 2. They go at it, now switching sides here. Both cars. This time around, serving donuts for dinner. The Baltimore Colts get the job done here in Game 4. 15-0, the final score to start off this May 31st edition of CDL Live. So, folks, the series now tied at 2. Game 5, Baltimore will have the home field, but is that really working to their advantage? They haven't won a playoff game there yet. So, they haven't won a playoff game from the home side of the field yet. But Rochester, perfect, 2-0 on the road, and as is Baltimore, 2-0 on the road. But nonetheless, Game 5, Rochester at Baltimore. That will be, folks, on the June 2nd game day. So, something to look forward to there, as it's going to be all or nothing right there for both of these squads. Coming up next, though, on this May 31st edition of CDL Live, the Syracuse Scorpions will have the same chance against the Toronto Canadiens. Home field advantage. They'll be looking to close the series out. They have the 2-1 advantage. Of course, the Toronto Canadiens trying to make history repeat itself, trying to repeat Baltimore's success here. Canadiens on the road take on the Scorpions. Folks, it's next and only on CDL Live. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our May 31st game day, folks, and ready to get our second and last D-League playoff game for this game day out of the way. And the Toronto Canadiens, arm team of both the Chicago Wind Attack and the Gowanda Outlaws, on the road to take on the Syracuse Scorpions, farm team of both the Buffalo Warriors and Pittsburgh Destroyers. These two teams following the same path so far that has been set by the other two teams playing with them here on this, what I like to call the odd game days, because they're the, you got game one on one day, then game one on the next day, kind of like that. First set of game ones, first set is then the second set of game ones, first set of game two, second set. Well, here we are, first set of game fours. Well, we saw Rochester get beat 15-0 in Game 4 against Baltimore. Baltimore even the series up. In the series, both of them have taken the exact same path as Mayor's baggage. Just like the series that you saw out here before, the Baltimore-Rochester series, these two teams gone the same way. No home team has picked the win up yet in this series. It's been all visiting team here between these two. As we take a look back, we look to Game 1, Syracuse on the road, the number 5 seed against 4-seeded Toronto here. 15-10 win for Syracuse there. Game 2, Toronto on the road against Syracuse. The Canadiens getting it done in overtime, even in the series up at 1-1. And then Toronto back to their home side of the field for Game 3, and another 15-10 final score. Syracuse getting the win. So now, can Syracuse break the pattern? If they can get the win here today, they'll win the series. Up 2-1, it's a best out of 5. They definitely would love to do it right here and now. Of course, the Toronto Canadiens would love to force Game 5 back on their home side of the field, but then again, the luck that they've had at home definitely can't be a comfort in fact, but nonetheless, they need a win to keep their season alive here on the road. But so far, they're 1-0 in the playoffs on the road, looking to make it 2-0 and force the decisive Game 5 in this first round of the D-League playoffs. Should be fun to watch, though, folks. Game 4 about to begin. Toronto Canadiens, Syracuse Scorpions. Let's get a look at their lineups. So here we go, folks. Leading the way for the Toronto Canadiens, it will be Pioneer, and up there first for the Scorpions, it will be WA-17 coming out of some repairs they had after Game 1. They'll go at it, cat in the way. This could play a factor, but Syracuse has a 5-0 lead right off the bat. Pioneer goes down, and that will bring out Dark for the Toronto Canadiens. Right, the battle with WA-17. Both cars staying up there. Both a smash mouth style, and WA-17 has the Scorpions up 10-0. Could the pattern be broken? Syracuse, defending Soldier Cup champions, one flip away from clinching the series right here. Up 2-1. Can they do it? And Chameleon is down, folks. WA-17 serves donuts for dinner, and the Scorpions break the pattern. They get the shutout in Game 4, and they win the series 3-1. Dominant performance. WA-17 coming up big. Those repairs had to have helped them, folks. Getting the extra tape around the sides on the front. Well, I should say new tape around the sides and on the front, and it held together very well for that game, and the Scorpions will advance to the second round of the playoffs. 3-1, they eliminate the Toronto Canadiens. So the Canadiens, out of the hunt for their third Soldier Cup final and their third Soldier Cup title in 4 years, of course, defending Soldier Cup champs, the Scorpions, and Toronto won it the 2 years before Syracuse did. So they were trying to go for 3 out of 4, but stopped short by the defending champs, the Scorpions, moving on to round 2. Still unsure who their opponent will be. We know that Calgary, the number 3 seed, moved on, and now we know the number 5 seed, the Scorpions, have moved on as well, and still undecisive. We know Baltimore and Rochester, they're going to be going to a Game 5, and that's the, other than them, Baltimore and Rochester going to a Game 5, and come the next game day, which would, in all technicality, be tomorrow's game day, the June 1st game day, the Oklahoma City Strikers going to be trying to keep their season alive, so who knows, Montreal might join the Scorpions in Game 4. Been playing well as of late, able to match up with Oklahoma City, something that really no team was able to do throughout the season. So, considering the fact that the only team to beat them was Toronto in the regular season, and Mexico City gave them a tie, 24-1-1. But so far, 1-2 in the playoffs for OKC. But they're a game that will, we'll get to the next game, But nonetheless, still lots more action here on this May 31st game day as we now switch to the pro side of things. Best of 7 series. Each series that's going to be on display today, it's a 2-1 series right now for all of them. The teams that are down 2-1 want to tie their series. The teams that are up 2-1 want to take that 3-1 edge. And the first 2 teams that will be on the field here, Syracuse Scorpions. The first 2 teams that will be on the field here, San Francisco and the San Jose Storm. So San Francisco's Shinobis on the road against San Jose in Game 4. Of course, the Shinobis won the first 2 games, coming back to get the win. Third game, it was a 10-0 lead again for the Storm, and of course the Storm figured out how to finish a game this time. They got the 15-5 win to get themselves back in the series. But with that being said, folks, right now both teams starting to feeling, Chameleon looks like he'll need more tape or something there. But of course, he has a whole off season to get that all fixed and repaired and whatnot. So congratulations to the Toronto Canadiens on another strong season. Hasn't been a year to where they did not make the playoffs yet in D-League history. So another impressive season for Toronto, and for one last time going in the bag, and their season coming to an end. Sure to see them in 2016 yet again. So series coming to an end, and congrats to them, and bigger congrats definitely to the winners of this series, the Syracuse Scorpions, moving on to the second round, to the Soldiers Cup semifinals. So, but yes, San Francisco, San Jose, Game 4 next, only on CDL Live. Stay tuned. Welcome back to CDL Live here, folks, on our May 31st playoff edition, and Game 4, or another Game 4, about to take place. Game 4 of this best of 7 series between the 4 and 5 seed of the Western Conference. The 5-seeded San Francisco Shinobis on the road here to take on the 4-seeded San Jose Storm. The Shinobis coming to this game after losing Game 3, but hey, they had that 2-0 series lead. The Storm had cut into it. They're looking to recapture that 2-game gap. And hey, they haven't lost on the road in the playoffs yet, as neither of these teams, I should say, has won on home field. It's kind of a pattern here has been going on. But hey, we saw a pattern broken just in the last game with Syracuse beating Toronto, so maybe the Storm be able to do the same. But the one thing that was different about Game 3 compared to the first 2, the Storm finished a game. In other words, take a look at those first 2 games, comebacks by the Storm, able to come back from being down 10-0 and get the 15-10 win. Perfect games by Black Bullet 1 and by Spectite Jr. Well, Game 3 wasn't meant to be for them. 48 Hours was able to get it done at the very end to get that 15-5 win over San Francisco in Game 3. So, can the Storm continue that trend? And for the Shinobis, you gotta wonder if they can start a game well. They haven't been good so far with that. As a matter of fact, they've been down 10-0 in the first 3 games. You know, they just got really lucky enough to come back in the first 2. So that being said, both these teams with things that kind of need to be fixed. San Jose kind of fixed theirs, and you gotta wonder, can the Shinobis fix their little glitch here today? Game 4, Western Conference quarterfinals. San Francisco Shinobis, San Jose Storm. Folks, let's get a look at their lineups for this matchup.
What they didn't. Is this a movie? Attack the lead villages where my crew be. What is it like to be a shinobi? My ninjas feel you for you feel me. Just do.
And here we go, folks. The Shinobis pulling off a move that I would by all rights call a kamikaze maneuver, but that's if they didn't have Spectite Jr. on the team at the captain spot. The Shinobi sending out Black Bullet 1, the 2014 MVP, to lead the way, and out there in his way will be Solid Snake from the Storm. The rookie for the Storm side, and interference off the bat that saves Black Bullet 1 right there, going up against the laptop charging cord. So, still a scoreless game after our first collision, and after our second, we are still scoreless. On the opposite sides of the field, maybe where Solid Snake might want to be, perhaps. Maybe where Black Bullet wants to be on the home side of the field, but they go at it there, and this time Solid Snake has a flip. So, goes far off screen, almost gets the interference another time around, but not this time. Couldn't hit the leg of the chair. Wasn't able to get there, folks. Cars are hard to control when they're going. Nonetheless, 5-0 Storm in the lead. A familiar pitcher that San Francisco's had to put up with, giving up early leads. And putting Black Bullet 1 out there didn't make a difference. Now Mach 5-2 gets his chance to tie this game up. And has to play defense right away. Good offensive chance by Solid Snake there, and the interference that time. And would have saved Mach 5-2 if he was down. He wasn't. Still up over there. Going at it again now. And this time an interference. Both sides, I should say both cars still up. And Mach 5-2 hanging in there is a Solid Snake. Solid Snake not really tested defensively yet and getting all the offensive opportunities that he can get right now. But Mach 5-2 answering the call thus far. And an interference right there that saves Mach 5-2. The Solid Snake goes barreling into his teammates there. So, they'll continue the game here. Mach 5-2, Solid Snake, and this time around, Mach 5-2. Good defensively, enough to land on all 4 wheels. Good lightweight defensive car that he is. He stays up yet again. Such a tough car to flip. The lightweight defense that comes out of this car is just incredible, as you see again right there, making defense look pretty. And you gotta wonder how long this can last. Solid Snake not being tested defensively at all as he continues this barrage of offense. And Mach 5-2 answering the call every single time. And interference there will save Mach 5-2. Going up against his own teammate. And we'll at it again. And this time, that was close to an interference, folks. We are going to take a look at this one in slow motion. But Solid Snake looked like he was down. And I didn't see contact made, but that's how the call is going to be right now. Going into this review, the call will be a good flip. So we are tied at 5, unless the review says otherwise. But let's slow that one down and see if contact was made between Spectite Jr. and Solid Snake, who was heading in his direction. Knocking on the front door there. Well, folks, that was a lengthy review, no doubt about it. But after reviewing the play, I saw no movement out of Spectite Jr. as if he was going to shove back. There was a little bit of space in between Solid Snake and Spectite Jr. from what I could see from where I'm sitting. After pulling him away from there, there was a little space in between there. So, after looking at it and reviewing it, no conclusive evidence to overturn what I saw and what I saw from your point of view there, folks. So, that being said, the ruling on the field stands, and we have a tie game, 5-5 the score, and that will bring out Charizard for the San Jose Storm. Both these teams playing pretty good demo derby right now, and they're both up right there. Two lightweight defensive cars, and that one definitely interference. Going at it again, clean collision, no flip. Both cars still alive and very much well in this thing. Mach 5-2 putting on a show right now. He's been through quite a few collisions here, passing the test so far, and really passing the test now. Mach 5-2 with a flip there, stepping up in this game. That brings out 48 hours now for the San Jose Storm. 10-5, Shinobi's in the lead. Mach 5-2 looking to try to get the win here. And getting a good hit right there. Mach 5-2 still up. So is 48 hours of interference right there. Neither car down. Just going to have to go back to their own sides. San Jose desperately trying to tie up the series. And the interference will save 48 hours right there as Mach 5 runs into the charging cable of the laptop there. So 48 hours going to get another chance. Needs to be better defensively than that. And both cars going to be saved right there. So 48 hours, not able to find his defensive feet right now. And this time around, close to an interference. There was none. They're going to switch sides on the field. Came very close. Half inch away from my foot. Both cars still up there. Switching sides, going at it again. And Mach 5-2 answering the call and back on the visitor side of the field, which is maybe right where he wants to be. As he battles with 48 hours here. Both cars some solid hits staying up. Good spin cycle by 48 hours there. And this time around, close to an interference, is it? Is he actually resting on it? Nope. Whoa. Pulling the cord with me as I went to grab him, but I'm going to make sure it didn't mess up the camera view there. But there was about a 16th inch of space there, folks, in between Mach 5-2 and that charging cable, and darn near landing right on top of it. No way of reviewing it from where it was, and a close call there. Let me see. But he was down as I look to get this camera set up the way we want it for you here. But nonetheless, the way he landed around the cable was strange. He was down, but an interference there. His landing down, the way that he landed, kind of looked like he edged the cable. And you saw what happened when I moved the cable to go grab it. So we'll go at it again. And a good spin cycle by 48 hours. This time around, Mach 5-2 staying up yet again, switching sides, and staying up yet again. Was laying on there, but the way he was laying, it was like a 16th inch of space, just hard to tell. He was right there laying on the cable. Should get a view of this. He was pretty much like this, folks. That's how he pretty much was at the time. So, in case, for those of you who might be wondering, the best reenactment I can do. And now some camera adjusting to do. Both cars are still up. Going to be on their own sides. So, I looked at it. Like I said, folks, readjust here. Let's talk about inconvenience here right now. You just want to see a game, now you adjusting the camera. Yeah. Anyways, Both cars going to be back on their own sides here, ready to go at it again. Battle continuing, game on the line. And he doesn't hit the cable that time, but he stays up. So Mach 5-2 still in this thing. So continue to go at it. And this time, 48 hours, a clean flip there on Mach 5-2. 10-10 the score. 48 hours, tying the game up. And that will bring out Spectite Jr. for the Shinobi. And, ooh, almost right there. Good barrel roll for Spectite Jr. to stay alive. As the game carries on here. Both cars again staying up. Good spin cycle by 48 hours, and this time 48 hours down. Spectite Jr. getting the flip. Shinobi's in the lead. 15-10 the score, and now Wasp trying to force overtime for the Storm. And look at that, Wasp staying up somehow. And this time, fumbling, mumbling. Somehow Spectite Jr. staying up, delivering a good blow there, but Wasp up to the challenge. And this time, did he hit right there? I think he just might have tail whipped Mach 5-2 there. So another play under review here. And as it stands right now, I didn't see him actually make contact with Mach 5-2, but that happened fast. So as it stands, good flip, but we're going to find out how good it really was. So this is going to be a long video, a lot of edits in here. And we're basically going to see if how close their backs are against the wall here for this Storm. And a close play to review there again, folks. And that one I could see as he was spinning around. No movement out of Mach 5-2 there at all. And he didn't really come close swinging around towards him. So the ruling on the field stands, good flip, and the Shinobis have won Game 4 here of this series. They take a 3-1 series lead back home for Game 5, and if needed, 6. Of course, the Shinobis will be trying to put the series away on home turf. With that 3-1 lead, the Storm backs up against the wall now for sure. Both teams playing a very strong game today, and a matchup that, yes, was pretty much, it was riddled with different things going on. You know, different reviews, different, I don't know how to put it. But definitely a game where a lot of reviews had to come into play, so a lot of judgment by refereeing, I guess, could come into some sort of viewing. But folks, I would be the referee, so of course I'm talking about myself, but I think I made the best calls that I possibly could. A little nerve-wracking myself actually calling it, the whole play with Mach 5-2 there, right on top of the court. Hard not to call interference there. So there was that play, of course. Didn't make a difference in the game. 48 hours eventually to get Mach 5-2 down, but nonetheless. Quite the game right there, but a close one. Both teams played it well, and in the end, the Shinobis get that 3-1 series lead. Coming up next on CDL Live, the 3 and 6 seed of the Eastern Conference go head-to-head. The Pittsburgh Destroyers looking to do the same thing that the Shinobis just did, except Pittsburgh's going to have the home field advantage to do it. Home against the New York Empire, up 2-1 in their series. That game, Game 4 between the Empire and the Destroyers next on CDL Live. Stay tuned. Well, folks, remind me never to move around the camera again. Had to reset it all and everything here for our next game here as we start the second half of our May 31st edition of CDL Live. Next game about to go down. Eastern Conference quarterfinals, Game 4 matchup between the New York Empire and the Pittsburgh Destroyers. New York on the road, trying to even the series up at 2. Pittsburgh with the home field advantage, knowing games 5 and, if necessary, 6. New York's going to have home field. So the Destroyers trying to take advantage of home field here and get the win here in Game 4. Let's take a look at how the first 4 games went as we go back in time here. Pittsburgh came out strong, winning 15-10. Then New York, by the same score, even things up, a 15-10 win over Pittsburgh in Game 2. Then the Destroyers got the win in overtime against the Empire to take that 2-1 series lead. So overall, close games, back and forth. And if logic dictates anything, maybe New York might win today. But nonetheless, it's been a back and forth series. We'll see what happens here. New York Empire, Pittsburgh Destroyers, folks. Getting set for Game 4. Let's get a look at the lineups. And here we go. Leading the way for the New York Empire, it will be Enzo 1, and out there first for Pittsburgh will be Yellow Custom 2. Battle of offense off the bat, and Yellow Custom 2 with the flip, 5-0 Pittsburgh in the lead. That brings out Black Bullet 2 for the Empire. And he'll immediately tie the game up at 5 apiece. And now enter Green Blaze. Black Bullet 2 have had some battles, and this time Black Bullet 2 wins the battle. Green Blaze down here. Only maybe an inch or two away from my foot here. But no interference. Play on. 10-5 the score. New York in the lead, and now Black Bullet 2 looking to win this game and tie the series up at 2. What Junior standing in his way? And what a game by Black Bullet 2. Getting the game-winning flip right there, and the New York Empire have done just that. Series tied at 2 apiece as the New York Empire get the big win here in Game 4. Game 5, the Empire are going to have home field advantage in 2 game days' time. Of course, that would mean this June 2nd game day, folks. They'll have home side of the field, no doubt about it. And should be a fun one to watch without question. The Empire getting the job done today. Pittsburgh going to have to try to figure out a way to at least win one of those games on the road. Game 7 be the only way they'll be on the home side of the field against New York again. So, anyways, that being said, though, folks, more action coming up on this May 31st edition of CDL Live. So we head back to the Western Conference. Game 4 matchup between the Nevada Thunder and the New Mexico Monsters. Controversial end to Game 3 with a DQ against Hornet. Missing a wheel. How long was it gone? When did it go missing? I haven't tracked it down. So, but nonetheless, it's a 2-1 series. Monsters in the lead because of that. And the Nevada Thunder out for some redemption, some revenge here in Game 4. And that matchup, folks, is next. Only on CDL Live. Stay tuned. Oh, final score of this one, 15-5 in favor of the Empire. In case I didn't mention it. Welcome back to CDL Live, folks. Our May 31st game day, marching on along here. We saw the Shinobis taking that 3-1 series lead over the Storm. And then we saw the New York Empire tying their series up at 2 with Pittsburgh. And now we get to see the next chapter of this one. Game 4 between the number 7 seed of the Western Conference, the Nevada Thunder, and the 2 seed of the West, the New Mexico Monsters. Now, New Mexico getting that win off of the lost wheel that was discovered on Hornet. And as you can see, new wheels on him coming into this game. Some fresh repair work done for him as well. Getting set to take on the Monsters here today. So, that being said, the Monsters, or not the Monsters, but the Nevada Thunder have to be out for a little bit of revenge today. And for the Monsters, maybe this game is about proving a point. That last game was a 15-0 win. They got home field today, looking for similar results and looking to drive the hammer home and take that 3-1 series advantage, which, as you know, in best out of 7 series, being up 3-1 has its perks. But nonetheless, Game 4 about to happen right now. We'll see what happens, folks. Should be an entertaining matchup. Nevada Thunder, New Mexico Monsters. Let's get a look at the lineups.
Flow like a monster.
And here we go, folks. White Indy leads the way for the Nevada Thunder today, and out there to meet up with him will be Futurama. Game on. Both cars still up after the first collision. I think these are the same lineups, or very close to the same lineups that these teams used last game. Futurama and White Indy switch sides, and this time White Indy is down. Clean flip there, went wide of Synchro, and that will bring out Yellow Spider for the Nevada Thunder. Take on the defense that Futurama brings to the field, and you just saw some of it right there. And this time, no interference. Both cars still up yet again, and they'll switch sides. So Yellow Spider and Futurama going at it here. Another battle in their book, if you will. Opposite sides of the field here. Good fight going on between them. This time around, Futurama, good breakdance move, staying up, and this time Yellow Spider has to pull off some defense and does so again. Some every kind of different type of maneuver from Futurama right now. And that time an interference going to send both cars back to their own sides. So, to keep moving along. Had to go up and get a Futurama there. It's a 5-0 game right now here in Game 4. New Mexico in the lead. And it lasts there. Look at that. Futurama. Good move to stay up that time. Both cars still going at it. Whoa. And that was a grazing shot and an interference. So, I'm going to call no roll there. Back to their own sides. I'm going to put more of a clip shot there, if anything. There was slight contact made, but would have called bad roll on it anyways. There. Not the best of collisions. These two cars keep going at it here. It's 5-0 game, and that time an interference. That one actually saves Futurama there. Both cars go at it yet again. Yellow Spider and Futurama, and this time around, both cars are going to be down. So, Futurama and Yellow Spider both down there, and we've got a 10-5 game in favor of the New Mexico Monsters. And now the first overall pick of the 2015 draft, X-Wing, trying to put the game away. Hornet out there, the rookie for Nevada, trying to keep the Thunder in this game. And an interference right there. So, they'll meet up again as Hornet saved himself that time. And it's good defense versus good offense right here is basically what it is. And that time, just about an interference, but both cars still up anyways. So, continuing their little bout here. This time around, Hornet has a good flip, and he made it look good too there, folks. You could have watched him as he went off screen. He kind of just somehow jumbled and fumbled his way back up and then rolled backwards as if to look back at X-Wing, who he just flipped. Kind of just really cool the way that he made that look. So, random exercise of the way they land or whatnot, but we got a 10-10 game here between the Thunder and the Monsters here in Game 4. Synchro now coming out there for the New Mexico side. And a good spin cycle by Synchro there. Both these cars good defensively, both of them using the spin cycle there. And that time, that one avoided collision because we had a back contact on the windup. And this time around, both cars up and switching sides. Synchro and Hornet. Battle continues. Good spin cycle by Hornet there. And again, staying on opposite sides. And this time, Hornet has the flip and a little bit of revenge for Hornet here today. He's 2-0 now. Going for the 3-0 in the win. Governor 2 out there to battle with him, trying to force overtime. So Governor 2 and Hornet now going at it. Game on the line. Both cars staying up and switching sides here. So now Hornet with that home side advantage, but it's going to quickly change back here. Governor back to the home side of the field. Going to remain on the home side of the field after that one. So continue to go at it here. Good battle by Hornet and Governor, and this time Governor 2 is down. And the game comes to an end. Folks, the Thunder have tied up the series at 2 apiece. 15-10 the final score here. They get the win over the New Mexico Monsters. Game 5 on the June 2nd game day, folks. And hey, Nevada going to have home field in games 5 and 6. And the Monsters going to have to win one of those to try to force that final game 7 perhaps back at home. At least win one of them. Of course, they'll try to win both of them, but nonetheless, a lot of big momentum swing there as the Nevada Thunder get some revenge from Game 3 and even up the series at 2 apiece. 15-10 the final score here in Game 4. The Thunder getting the win over the Monsters. Coming up next, one more game to go, our main event of this May 31st game day. Game 4 between the Bradford Brawlers and the Tampa Bay Gators. Tampa Bay, the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, Southeast Division champions, coming off of a very tough loss in Game 3. They did not look good, and the Bradford Brawlers hoping that Spinebuster can do it again. Well, we'll find out if he can. Next on CDL Live. Stay tuned. Well, folks, games 1, 2, and 3 of the playoffs for Brandon. He split on all 3 of his game days that he's been in action. It just seems like the Storm and the Gators cannot win on the same day. That's the path that these playoffs have taken. Well, the Storm lost today, so does that set up Tampa Bay for the win? Of course, nothing written in stone. As the Storm took a tough one today, they fell down 3-1 in their series against San Francisco, but the Tampa Bay Gators, with home field here, with the chance to take a 3-1 series lead over the Bradford Brawlers. Now, of course, the first 2 games dominated by Ratified, who's there at the middleman spot today for Tampa Bay, and utter domination. Went 5-0-1 in those first 2 games, but then in Game 3, coming out for the Bradford Brawlers was Spinebuster, and he came out hard, getting the shutout in Game 3, keeping the Brawlers in the series. He comes out at the front runner spot yet again here in Game 4. The Brawlers hoping for those same results. That being said, though, Bradford Brawlers, Tampa Bay Gators, the 8th seed of the Eastern Conference up against the number 1 seed of the East. It's our main event of this May 31st edition of CDL Live. Let's find out what's going to happen, and only one way to find out. Collide these cars together. We're going to see Phantom shake off some rust here. He'll be leading off for Tampa Bay. So, yeah, let's get a whole look at the lineups for both sides. Bradford Brawlers and the Southeast Division champions, the Tampa Bay Gators. And here we go, folks. Spinebuster leads the way, and out there first for the Tampa Bay Gators will be Phantom. So, game on. And Phantom down right away. Spinebuster getting that quick flip, and that will leave it up to Ratified here. Ratified and Spinebuster going in it. Ratified been impressive in this series, especially the first 2 games, and impressive right there. Ties the game up at 5 apiece. That brings out Gold Dust for the Brawlers here. Matching up with Ratified. 2 of these cars kind of similar style to them, and Gold Dust has a flip there. 10-5 in favor of the Brawlers, looking to tie the series up at 2. So now battle out there for Tampa Bay, and both cars down. So a 15-10 game in favor of Bradford. 47 Ronin now out there for Tampa Bay, trying to force overtime here. Uncle Sam going for the win, not going to get it, no interference, clean flip, and we are going into OT here in Game 4. Green Indy out there for the Bradford Brawlers. 47 Ronin out there for the Tampa Bay Gators. Score tied at 15 now in OT, and that one was quick. You will not enjoy this, but it will be over quickly. 47 Ronin right away, getting the flippin' OT, and the Tampa Bay Gators have a 3-1 series lead. 20-15, the final score here. The Tampa Bay Gators finding a way to get the win over the Bradford Brawlers. And 47 Ronin, how quick he comes in there. I think that was about 3 collisions, and all of a sudden, Tampa Bay's gone from a 15-10 deficit to a 20-15 overtime win. Wonderful play by 47 Ronin right there. And for Bradford, hey, putting up the competitive fight, having a really great game. In the end, just not enough to get the win. And got to give ups to Battle there as well. Able to at least pick up the tie to give 47 Ronin that chance to compete. Compete, he certainly did. So that does it here for our May 31st edition, playoff edition of CDL Live. Next game day coming up, more Game 4s as we finish out all the Game 4s. But, one of these series not going on anymore. Of course, I'm talking about that Calgary-Richmond series because it ended in 3, that 1D League series there. So you won't see Calgary and Richmond in action, folks, but you will get to see some other games, 5 other games. Oakland and Oklahoma City and Montreal. It will be Game 4, their best of 5 series, and of course Montreal has that 2-1 series lead on Oklahoma City. So the Strikers needing a win to keep their playoff hopes alive, and who would have seen in the D-League playoffs the Strikers down 2-1 in the first round. Folks, my personal prediction of that series was a 3-0 sweep in favor of the Strikers there, but the Saints have brought the fight to OKC that whole series, folks, no doubt about it. But then, will a sweep be afoot? The Philadelphia Demons on the road to do battle with the Boston Vandals. Of course, Philadelphia, the 5th seed in the East, with the chance to sweep the series. They got that 3-0 lead. Then after that game, Roswell has the same chance on the road to take on the Chicago Wind Attack. And folks, that one ends in a sweep. It'll be the closest sweep that has ever happened in the CDL. And you ask, how's that? Well, all 3 games have gone to overtime, and Game 3 went in the double overtime. Chicago still looking for the pieces to the puzzle that is Police Porsche. It's been the hero for the Roswell Aliens in that series. So Roswell up 3-0. They'll be going for the sweep against Chicago on our next game day, the June 1st game day. Then after that, Puerto Rico on the road against Hartford. The homies with home field advantage. Hey, they're the 2 seed in the East. I make use of that home field advantage. They'll be looking to tie the series up at 2. Of course, Puerto Rico trying to take that 3-1 series lead back to San Juan. And then our main event of that June 1st game day, the number 1 seed of the West, defending world champion Blades, home against the Idaho Cowboys. Idaho won Game 1, but LA's put 2 straight together, looking for 3 in a row. Are the defending world champs. See if they can get it on that June 1st game day. That being said, folks, thanks for watching. James Hulse here, owner and creator of the Car Demolition League. Definitely appreciate your support. Until next time, folks, take care of yourself, be yourselves, and peace.
Yeah.